This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to The Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom.
And I'm Tim.
Tim, how are you doing this week?
Tom, we're recording remote because, as you can probably hear, I'm a sick boy.
Yeah, you keep getting sick. What's going on?
I don't know. I got sick.
Licking subway banisters or something?
No. I don't go on the subway. It's far too dangerous.
Well, they got the National Guard
twice
in
the
there
last
now, Tim.
3 months. Yeah, exactly. That's how you know something's safe, when you got guys with like M16s walking around. It's like, yes.
You've gotten sick twice in the last 3 months, but you've also gotten sick twice in the last month.
Maybe, I don't know. I have a toddler. He goes to daycare. He brings home all
but
sorts of things.
I do my podcast with him every week, and he's always fine.
He's a pro. He really is.
He is. He can. Sometimes I don't even realize he's sick until afterwards. That's how good he is at keeping it all together.
Well, you always hope that your kids will be better than you, right? Is that a thing? Is that a saying?
I think it's that you hope your kids will have a better life than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by not getting sick all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Like me.
Yeah. And being a better podcaster in general.
Tom, how are you this week? So I'm sick, and I'm very bravely and heroically recording this podcast,
Powering
despite
through.
the fact that I really would rather be sleeping.
Yeah.
But I don't want to tell the listener that.
Right. Yeah. That would make them feel guilty.
Yeah. Nobody listens to this to feel guilty. Oh, Tim would like to be sleeping, and he really deserves it. He's he's working real hard lately, and now he's sick, and he's doing this. But I guess I'll just have to enjoy it and sign up for the Patreon.
I guess it should make me think about what I am doing for Tim, considering what he's
Tim
doing
is doing for you.
Yeah.
That's what you can be doing for me.
Right.
Do you know these people? Like, look, I don't want to.
The Kennedys?
No, I mean, that's a whole other can of worms. Look, even the good Kennedys are bad, right?
Yeah, I don't know if there's any good. I mean, they've done good legislative things.
Even the revered Kennedys are still
even the revered Kennedys have still killed somebody.
Yeah. All right, cool. No, I was talking about people that just are here's my Venmo me money on Twitter and stuff. But usually it's a good cause. Usually it's somebody who needs it.
Right. I don't know what you're talking about. Tim, I think, are you following a lot of OnlyFans models on Twitter? Is that what's going on?
No. It's just I see them retweeted by people, mostly the comedy people, where it's rent's due, so can somebody send me some money? And it's just
I haven't seen
I don't know why somebody retweeted this into my feed. I've never heard of, I don't know who this person is.
Right.
You, comedian, should click on that Venmo.
Right. You seemingly know who this person is. You should help them out.
Yeah. But I usually click and give them $150. Yeah.
Right. Just to help out.
Yeah.
I mean, people must do it if there's enough, if people are out there soliciting still, or maybe not. I guess what's the harm in asking, hey, send me some money?
Yeah. Look, it's fine.
Maybe that's why. I think I did that once on this show and asked people for $1 or something. I forget what the bit was. I forget.
It was a bit.
Yeah, it was something like that, because then it did get annoying because people were sending me money and I was like, nah, it was a joke, and I had to keep declining their requests. And maybe that's what got my account in trouble.
Oh, wasn't it that people started requesting money from you?
Yeah, maybe something like, maybe I said oh yeah, I just automatically, if somebody requests money, I'm like, it sounds good, and I pay them. I didn't mean strangers. I meant if, somebody I knew that I owed money asked me for the money.
Has anybody ever requested money from you on Venmo?
Yeah.
Who?
All these strangers to begin with.
No. Like people, like, has that feature ever been useful? Like,
yeah, if you're like splitting a bill or something and you tell the person like, hey, yeah, just like send me a Venmo request for what I owe you.
Why don't you just be proactive and send the right amount? Why are you putting it on them? They laid out the money and then they have to chase you down for it?
Because it's not chasing down. And like I've been at like dinners where people desperately want the credit card points and are like, I'll do it. And then you're like, okay, well, what do I owe you? And they're like, well, I'll figure it out later. And then they figure it out later and send you a request.
Nobody does that. They're chasing you down.
People do this, Tim. Why do you think
I like getting the points? And let me tell you this, Tom. I'm really pissed off because like I've built up a lot of points on a rewards card that like I don't want these rewards anymore. I wish I had been on a different rewards card.
Wow, Tim. Wow. God, I feel so bad for you. First you're sick and now you have all these rewards on a card that's different than the card you wanted your rewards on.
Yeah, exactly. It's these hotels that I can't book. I can't book any of the good stuff.
You're not allowed in them anymore.
Yeah, you get put on one list one time. It applies to all. I thought it was just that specific hotel that I can't go back in.
Right, and you even told them, well, try and ban me from all the Marriotts in the world.
I was really cavalier about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
Turns
you forgot.
Out it's very easy for them.
They got a database. They just have to click a button in there, and old Timmy's points are worthless.
How are you doing this week?
I'm doing good, Tim. I've a potential guy I think I'm thinking about becoming.
Oh, great.
Let me pitch this to you. What do you think about this, Tim?
I mean, I do think your whole personality could use a revamp, so
exactly. Just a nice spring refresh. The old personality is getting pretty stale. What do you think about this? I become a metal detector guy.
Okay. Just at the beach or just in general?
Yeah, like mostly at the beach. But maybe other places, maybe trails.
Now, you're positing this as if it's a joke, but like
Not really. I mean, it is a joke. Like it would be a funny thing to become, but
have you already bought a metal detector?
No, but I've very briefly looked into like at least what they start at.
Right.
Price
what do
wise.
They start at?
There are ones on Amazon that start at like $100 that look decent and have decent reviews. I have no idea if that's, manufactured reviews or whatever, but
what are you trying to find with it?
Treasure, Tim. God, what are you,
like,
stupid?
Do you think like a treasure chest?
Sure.
With gold doubloons in it? Do you think that's going to be at like Jones Beach?
No, just, you find jewelry and stuff.
Okay, so like stuff that people lost?
Yeah, stuff people lost.
And you're going to try to return it to them? I'll find out who they belong to?
I'll give my best faith effort to return it to people.
So let's say you do that,
mm-hmm.
Wink, wink.
Yeah.
And you can't find its rightful owner because you're not going to do that.
Well, how am I gonna?
Let's say you find a really elegant like bracelet, right? Expensive.
I like how you don't know how to describe jewelry, so you're like, what would expensive jewelry be? Oh, a really elegant bracelet.
Yeah. Well, all right. You describe expensive jewelry.
A bracelet, a gold bracelet encrusted with diamonds.
Okay. Cool. Let's say you find that.
Mm-hmm.
What would you? All right. Let's say you wouldn't actually try to find the owner. Would you just like go to a pawn shop?
Yeah, become like a pawn shop guy too.
Okay.
Actually, no. I think it would likely lead into me becoming a smelting guy. like in pretty quick succession, I think.
Right.
Because I've also watched some smelting videos, and that looks pretty fun.
So what would you just melt them down and like make a like golden glove or something that you can punch people with?
I ain't even think about that. I was thinking about just making them into bars. But yeah, if I made a golden glove,
and then you could like do some vigilante stuff, right? And you'd be like, "Call me the Golden Glove."
Yeah, I mean, gold is notoriously one of the softest metals, and also,
I mean, it's still metal, Tom.
That's true. But if I had enough gold to make a glove out of it, that glove would probably be worth like, I don't know, $10,000.
Yeah, okay.
That'd be a pretty cool glove.
I know. That's why everybody would fear you.
Yeah, probably wouldn't look very good. I'd be new to smelting.
Covered in blood. Yeah. I support your...
It would mostly be a golden glove, but it would also have some Pepsi cans, too.
What would your fiance think about you becoming a metal detector guy?
She'd probably... You know what, Tim? Once I start bringing home those elegant necklaces, she'd love it.
All right.
She'd be like, oh my God, I've never had so many elegant necklaces in all my life.
Bracelets, Tom. They're elegant bracelets.
I'm so glad you became a metal detector guy.
Yeah. So it really is just like old guys looking for stuff that people lost that they could like flip.
Flip or collect, like, I think some people, they just kind of hang on to certain things that,
Yeah, well, that's
and
you're behavior. I think any kind of collecting is a mental illness.
You're also, you're doing a service, like you're cleaning the beach, if I found, a can or whatever, I'm not just going to bury the can again. I'll go recycle it.
No, you won't. What are you kidding me?
What, you think I'm going to be able to smelt this glove 100% out of gold? No, I'll need some cans to fill it out.
Tom, when you see trash on the beach, do you go, other people's trash, do you go pick it up and throw it out?
No, but if I was using a metal detector and I dug up trash, I would feel too guilty to then, if I'm holding the trash, then it's like, nope, I took on the responsibility of this trash.
That's fair.
I mean, doing that may then cause me to never go metal detecting again. But at least that one time I would definitely throw the trash out that I found.
You going to wear a bucket hat?
I think you have to, right?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much that might come with the metal detector. Should inquire.
I just remember, like, don't you remember as a kid seeing metal detector guys at the beach and thinking like, that guy's weird, but that's cool too.
No, I didn't think. Well, my understanding was like, I guess there is like pirate's treasure buried here. Like he's trying to like find this one thing that must happen sometimes on Robert Moses Field 5, where like
occasionally somebody finds a treasure chest.
Yeah, it didn't occur to me at a young age that it was just like, you just find stuff that, people unfortunately lost at the beach.
Yeah. One man's trash.
Wants to create a collection of stuff that people are saying. Like, it's no different than when, like, people go to, like sociopath, high school kids go to a high school kids party and like steal a family photo.
Yeah, I mean, we know people who have done things like that.
Yeah,
it's not stealing. It's not. I wouldn't be stealing. If I found like personalized jewelry, Tim, I would try and find the owner. I would try and return it.
I don't think you would, Tom.
I would. I would feel. No, I have too much guilt. I would feel too guilty about it.
Like with an address on it. Like if it said like 2JB from RL Stein. Would you be like, let me see if I can, figure out on Facebook?
Well, I mean, if it was a ring or something that had been given to Goosebumps author R.L. Stein, I don't. You know what? If it had sentimental value, though, maybe I get a pretty good reward.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is an R.L. Stein shakedown scheme.
I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully it won't come to that, but, who knows?
Yeah. You got to pay for that metal detector somehow.
All right, Tim. Well, last week was a fiasco, but one of the many things that came out of that was
last week's episode.
Last week's episode was that we did not get to cover everything we wanted about Wendy's.
Right. So last week we did an episode about Wendy's. You and I talked for over an hour about Wendy's. Mm-hmm. I'll be charitable here. Something got messed up with the recording, so I had to come back over and talk for another hour about Wendy's. So now we're going to talk about Wendy's for a third hour in 2 weeks. Like, we're talking about Wendy's more often than I'm getting sick, Tom.
Wow. When you put it that way, it really does kind of blow my mind.
Yeah.
Tim, there's a few things we did not talk about. If this is the first episode you're listening to, go back to last week. Listen to the Wendy's episode. This is Wendy's part 2. Yeah, because otherwise
you need that base of knowledge.
You'll be so completely lost. There'll be no hope for you.
It's a fast food restaurant. That's all I'm giving you. That's all I'm giving you from the basics. It's a fast food restaurant.
Now, we did not talk at all last week about the founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas.
Right. A guy. A man who was in their commercials.
A man who started Wendy's and then was in their commercials. And also a man who was a disciple of Colonel Harlan Sanders.
Yeah. A protege, even.
Yeah. So what was it? Dave Thomas owned KFC franchises?
Yeah, I believe so. Which is also like, I guess it's competition. But, or when did Wendy start? Like, we just read Colonel Sanders' biography, autobiography. He doesn't mention Dave Thomas once in that whole book.
No. Well, I mean, he might not have, really known what was to come from Dave Thomas. Wendy's was founded in 1969.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, Wendy's had been around for like close to 10 years when Colonel Sanders, I refer to him as Harlan, wrote that book.
Yeah. Well, I always feel like Wendy's should like it. Wendy's almost opened in the freaking 70s.
Right.
But doesn't it feel like it should have been like the early 60s or maybe even the 50s?
I think that's the vibe they're trying to go for, or at least that they were trying to go for in the 80s when we were coming of Wendy's age.
Yeah.
And the
November
90s.
15th, 1969. So that's like, just a month before.
Yeah, almost the 70s.
A month and a half before the 70s. But like, I always thought Dave Thomas was one of these guys that was like Colonel Sanders, where it's like, oh, he founded Wendy's when he was like, 75 years old. And like, nope, not the case. He wasn't even that old when he passed. He passed at 69.
Yeah, he was, and I remember when he died, it being like a pretty shocking thing, because he died, in the early 2000s? Like 2003, I want to say?
January 2002.
Oh, okay.
He was very distraught over 9/11.
Is that true? Is that what killed him? I hadn't heard that. That's pretty crazy. He went out thinking this country's going to hell in a handbasket.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to the 9/11 museum?
No. Have you?
No. And
Seems
I was
like it'd be
thinking
upsetting. I don't want to think about 9/11 was bad.
Yeah, I know. And that's why I was like, and I don't think I know anyone that's ever been to the museum.
Yeah.
And I was
sorry, I don't want to get my jollies at the 9/11 museum.
I feel like you don't always have to get your jollies when you go to the museum, Tim. I've told you that
I go to the museum
times.
to laugh, and there's nothing to laugh about there.
Right? Yeah, you always go to museums to laugh, and that's
like
why
Ripley's Believe It or Not is my favorite museum.
It's your favorite museum. Like one thing I know about museums is they're very expensive, very cramped. They don't really have.
My second favorite museum, Madame Tussauds.
Have you ever been to Ripley's Believe It or Not?
No,
museum?
I haven't. No, have you?
I did.
I can't
go there
believe.
once.
I would not believe that you haven't.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like I went there for like a work-related reason or something. Something weird. Field trip? Nah, it wouldn't have been a field trip. I was an adult.
No, there's no educational value there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know I didn't pay for my ticket to Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Right.
And
did you? Were you there on some sort of a rent boy situation where an older gentleman rented you for the day?
A wealthy older man had taken me there. He was like, "You won't believe how tall this guy was," and how
you'd be like, "Yep."
That's the only thing I remember, that they had like a life-size mannequin, I guess, of the world's tallest man.
Yeah, of course that's not what you would remember, because like all you care, you're obsessed with people's heights. Are you thinking about, Tom, the Atlantic City boardwalk where they have that statue outside the Ripley's Museum? And I was there with you and didn't go inside.
No, this was inside, I remember. And I just remember like seeing the statue and being like, wow, that's crazy. But also like, I don't know, am I going to trust these guys? They can build a statue.
Yeah, that's the thing.
They can build a statue 20 feet tall and tell me, oh yeah, show me the guy. Have his bones here.
They say it, Tom, right there. You can believe it or not. Those are your choices.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think that works against them if they are a reputable organization, right? Because then you're setting the wrong
believe it or
tone.
not.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because then it's like, this may be a lie. It's up to you to decide.
Yeah. When they're trying to claim everything in that museum is real. Was it?
Right.
Did Dean Cain host that TV show? The Ripley's Believe It or Not TV show? Yes, he did.
Yeah. I don't remember the TV show. This is way more up your alley, kind of Believe It or Not stuff.
From 2000 to 2003. So this was post Lois and Clark.
Right.
Wow,
Cool.
and he was the sole credited producer on it too. 4 seasons.
He's really passionate about what are like alien bodies? Like what else do they have there?
Well, I mean, I can tell you about the first episode of the TV show. It featured half woman, the suspension club, an Etch-a-Sketch artist, modern day cannibals, million-volt minister, maggot medicine, Cody the talking dog, Bendy man, and vampire killing kit. That's a stacked pilot episode if I've ever heard
Yeah.
one.
You know, if I were a network executive, I'd take a look at that pilot and be like, this is all well and good, but how are you going to sustain this level of freaking chaos?
They did it for 4 seasons.
I know, but like, were any as good and jam-packed as that pilot? What I'm saying is like maybe they front-loaded everything. Maybe they ran out of material quickly.
It honestly looks like
you got Bendy Man and who was the talking dog in the same episode? Space that out.
Corey the talking dog.
Dog named Corey. It doesn't even need to talk. That's pretty amazing in and of itself.
I'm looking at, all right. So season 4, episode 5, Hermes Zempera, a human cannibal who originally overshot an inflatable device and injured himself, later performs a successful landing as part of a live event hosted by Kelly Packard Tia Resaleri, a woman who specializes in taxidermy that includes dressing up deceased animals, which fill her house. So it sounds like they, they figured it out. They figured out how to pad out a full episode.
Yeah, okay. With live cannonball shooting.
Yeah, a guy. I mean, and he had already overshot it once, so I'm sure they showed. I'm sure they showed that footage over and over again of him missing the target and getting hurt.
Right. Well, Ripley's Believe It or Not. You heard it here first. So Dave Thomas.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, what were you talking about?
with Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah, I mean, you were asking me about if I've ever been to the 9/11 museum. Where was that just idle small talk?
Right. Yeah, I guess it was just idle small talk because you mentioned that Dave Thomas was a victim of 9/11, according to you.
Well, I assume he passed, a few months after.
Yeah, but everybody
seems like a guy that would have been like really shaken by like what happened to our American values and all this stuff.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean he was kind of like seemingly the only nice like fast food chain owner, right?
Okay, you got Ray Kroc.
Yeah, who's an asshole.
Yeah, you got Colonel Sanders, famous
who's a
asshole.
liar.
Yeah. The Burger King, who is like a monarch, like he's, that's
Papa John.
Papa John. Yeah, I guess the Chick-fil-A people are bad, I think, right?
Yeah, or they at least like give their money to anti-LGBTQ causes. Although I read something about how like then like far right wing people were boycotting Chick-fil-A because they had a VP of diversity, and there are people that hate that, even though apparently they've had like a VP of diversity for I don't know years, but nobody ever looked at their website, I guess, or the right people who would get real mad about that.
Yeah, the culture war requires a lot of vigilance.
It does. It requires, constantly being vigilant about the products that you like to enjoy and making sure they aren't trying to make you woke.
Yeah. Okay. So Dave Thomas opened its first Wendy's in Columbus, Ohio, Tom.
Yeah.
Are you an Ohio guy?
I've never been to Ohio.
My grandparents lived there when I was younger, so I went there sometimes. And I enjoyed going to their house.
Oh, okay. Did they live near a Wendy's by any chance? Or
no, they had a player piano though.
Oh, okay. Did it work?
Isn't that cool? Yeah, it worked.
Oh, wow. Because I feel like anytime I've seen a player piano, I've always been like, oh my God. And then somebody's like, yeah, it doesn't work.
This was 1987. Player pianos still worked.
Yeah, there were still enough player piano maintenance men out there roaming the country to keep them in good working order.
Yeah. So he named his daughter. Nope, he named his restaurant.
Yes.
Wendy's after his daughter. You know what his 8-year-old daughter at the time. You know what her name is?
I know it was not actually Wendy.
Yes, Melinda Lou.
Yeah. And do you know why it's Wendy?
Because she couldn't say her name when she was young.
She couldn't say Linda. She would say Winda.
Yeah.
So that turned into Wendy. And then, Winda became Wendy, and Wendy became the star of the show, the star of the restaurant.
And Dave Thomas lived to regret naming it after his daughter.
Yeah, I read about that. I read that according to her, because I think she has a book.
Probably. I would cash in on that if I were her.
He wanted a character because he worked for the Colonel at Kentucky Fried Chicken and knew how much that persona mattered. He said, Wendy, pull your hair up in pigtails. So I did. He got his camera and took pictures of me and my sister and said, yep, it's going to be Wendy's old-fashioned hamburgers. And and that was it. But then apparently later he regretted.
He said it put too much pressure on her.
Yeah,
But I think the old Dave, who was in every one of his commercials up until every single Wendy's commercial up until he died, except for one pivotal one.
Wow,
I think he regretted not naming it old Dave Thomas's hamburgers.
Yeah, because it was
like,
always
Wendy's, this little girl with pigtails who didn't lift a goddamn finger.
Right.
Let alone to grill a hamburger or mix up a pot of chili.
Yeah,
she gets all the credit.
I remember as a kid always thinking it was weird that this restaurant's name is Wendy's, but all the commercials are Wendy's dad, and he talks about her. He references her in a lot of the commercials. But they don't show her, which like even when I was younger, I realized like, oh, that's because she's not like a cute little girl anymore. So we can't like trot her out and be like, look, it's like a living cartoon character.
They could have just cast a cute little girl.
Yeah, they probably did for some commercials.
Yeah, I mean, after Dave Thomas died, they cast a sexy lady as Wendy.
Well, we'll get to that, but yeah, I lost my train of thought after you.
All right,
said
well, how about that for a teaser then? After the break,
sexy Wendy, huh? Now, Tim, before the break, you mentioned something about a sexy Wendy.
Yeah, they got a sexy Wendy in the commercials.
I don't think I remember these commercials with a sexy Wendy. So he always did the commercials, Dave Thomas, and he had a real nice way about him, right? You would say.
Right. Yeah.
He was like, "Hi, I'm Dave." Like, it seemed very down to earth.
He was affable. That was the whole thing. Yeah.
And he kind of had like almost like a Bob Newhart-esque delivery.
I guess. Oh, like that. He was just like very deadpan.
Yeah,
and things would happen around him.
Yeah, things kind of crazy things would be happening in some commercials, and he would just kind of look at the camera like, "Well, what can you do?"
Right.
So I always like that about him. But yeah, so then when he died, what were they going to do? And they said, well, now he's dead, we can sexualize his daughter. I can't find anything about these sexy Wendy commercials, Tim.
Calm
did you dream about it?
What are you talking about?
The sexy Wendy's commercial.
No, okay. Ready? Here's the thing. They introduced a new Wendy, the most recent
just
Wendy.
A lot of like fan art, Tim, that I think is going to put me on a list.
They didn't officially. Oh, God damn.
They didn't officially. So what'd they do?
Okay, they in 2020. They cast. Okay, ready? Okay, in 2022. Nope.
Okay.
We'll start retaking. Hello and welcome to the complete guide to everything.
Oh no, Tim! I'm not going to do this whole episode again.
This lady, Morgan Smith.
Okay, the one who made the Supersize Me.
No, that's Morgan Spurlock. Did the Morgan Spurlock stuff, was that in the first version or the second version?
You know what, Tim? I don't know. I don't know if people have already heard us talk about Morgan Spurlock or not.
Well, they don't need to. And if it is, like, we're on the hook for libel and slander for that. So,
wow, Tim, did you know that this actress, Morgan Smith, naturally a dark blonde, her hair was dyed orangey red for the commercial role, but then she relocated to Los Angeles, California after being cast as a series regular Shelby Fox opposite Craig T. Nelson in NBC's reboot of Coach.
What? There was a reboot of Coach?
It did not
And the Wendy's girl was in it?
Yep,
Oh,
and
wow.
it did not get picked up, so who knows if we'll ever see it.
So she, beginning in April 2012, Coney 2012, Tom.
You're always going on and on about that.
We got to do something about it, Tom.
I know, Tim. Tim, you know I support your activism.
She was cast as Wendy.
Yes,
And,
you know what? I'm seeing the picture now, and I do recognize her.
okay, so I think you owe me an apology, first of all. First and foremost,
Well,
do you want to?
I mean, the thing is, she wasn't sexy Wendy, but she was.
Right. They knew what they were doing. She was 27 years old. It wasn't like a little, freckled face little
Yeah,
8-year-old.
they cast an attractive 27-year-old actress to be Wendy. And, yeah, I mean, they didn't overtly, I'm looking at the pictures, like they did not overtly sexualize her or anything like that.
I mean, but they did. You should have seen the way that she was eating the Baconators in the commercials.
Oh, yeah, I am seeing one picture where she's like shoving a burrito in her mouth, and it does look kind of suggestive.
So, Tom, look, I'm not saying that like it was untoward or anything. I'm just saying that like they revamped Wendy into a woman in her mid-20s who was very attractive.
Yes.
And that's
Sorry,
it. I guess it was a misleading tease before the break.
Yeah.
And now there's a whole different Wendy's lady.
What do you mean? There is?
Yeah.
Who?
Catherine Feeney. She started in 2020. But she's not. I don't think she's playing Wendy because she has brown hair.
Oh, okay. So yeah,
just a lady,
just a spokesperson.
Yeah,
Catherine Feeney Wendy's. That's what I'll search.
Yeah.
Who is Catherine? Oh yeah, I haven't seen this woman, but
Tom, it's because neither of us have seen an ad for anything in 8 years.
I mean, I see ads. I don't see ads for like, things like Wendy's, things that would appeal to me.
You see ads for like singles in your area looking to hook up.
Exactly. Yeah, a lot of things like that.
Yeah.
Lonely housewives are
Right.
dying to meet you.
Yeah, things relevant to your interests.
Now, does this Catherine, she play an employee at Wendy's? Because that's kind of what it looks like.
Yeah, I think they saw what that AT&T lady was doing for AT&T, and they were like, we need to get one of those in Wendy's.
Yeah. They've all got, like, State Farm's got that guy. Who's that guy?
Yeah.
Jeff or something? Clyde?
It's Clyde.
I don't know. I just know that sometimes, like, Jake from State Farm.
Right.
And so that sometimes, like, I'll hear about things like this, and I'll feel so out of the loop that there's a guy everybody knows the name of in commercials, and I don't.
You want to know why? It's because you don't watch football. That's the only reason anybody knows any of these people anymore.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't watch like really many I watch soccer sometimes, but that doesn't have commercials for the most part.
Yeah.
All right, I gotta start watching football. I guess to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah, so just so you know who the latest spokespeople are for the large telecommunications and insurance companies.
You ever watch like, you ever watch like, I know you don't watch this, but have you ever caught like a few minutes of golf on TV?
Oh yeah, and it's like like all the ads are like, you're very clearly like the a C-suite member
maker.
or like yeah, and it's all like,
have you considered our
like,
customer relation software and our server solutions?
It's like that, or like specifically for like, here's how hedge fund managers keep their, like, it's all like, it's a very small audience that they're going for, but they're all watching The Masters on CBS.
Yeah. We got to figure out a way to tap into that audience.
The thought leaders, I think most of them listen to this show.
The thought leaders, the decision makers high up at companies making billion-dollar decisions about their server needs.
Yeah. I watch golf commercials. I was like, I don't understand what this company does, what this product is.
Yeah.
I don't even think they talked about a product. They're just using a bunch of buzzwords. This must be worth their while to produce this commercial and put it on TV.
Like, a lot of it seems like the kinds of businesses where it's like there are two companies that do this. They both do it on like pretty much the same. And if the CEO sees our commercial, that might be the name he mentions to, the CTO of like, you should see about this AWS. We should maybe move to that.
Yeah. Well,
it seems like it's worked out well for Tiger Woods.
Hey, what hasn't worked out? Hey, you think Tiger Woods
marriage
was excited about those new Sexy Wendy's commercials?
I don't think that Wendy's nearly sexy enough for Tiger Woods.
I mean, did you see some of the ladies that Tiger Woods was
weren't they all just like blondes?
Okay, so like she wasn't their type, his type?
Who?
No, they were like hostesses at like Applebee's and stuff, Tom.
No, I think they were hostesses at like nice clubs.
No, not always, Tom.
Oh, really?
And there were a million of them.
Wow. I do. Yeah, I forgot about that. That there were like there were so many.
Yeah, because it was like an addiction. It wasn't
he's got somebody on the side. It's like every night he's having sex with 10 other people.
Yeah. So I think the Wendy's girl probably caught his eye at one point.
Maybe. All right.
Yeah.
Catches
it. He's watching South Park.
Wait, he's watching South Park?
Yeah, I bet he likes South Park, right? Oh, no, I bet they skewered him good.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, Trey and Matt probably,
really gave it to him.
Yeah.
Tim, did you know that Wendy's introduced the first modern drive-through to the world?
I did not know that, Tom.
Dave Thomas coined the term pickup window. Before this.
Okay.
Well, get this though, Tim. So before this, there was just the one window.
Right. You went up to it, you ordered, and then they prepared it.
And he just waited.
Yeah.
And he realized like that slows things down.
Take a lot of orders.
Yeah.
Somewhere else.
And it said this innovation was so revolutionary that customers needed instructions on how to talk through the speaker to place an order. So I guess that was also like his, that it wasn't just you go up to the window and order, but also the speaker and then going. Now I'm confused because
this is for the drive-through, right?
Yeah, but they still have two windows usually, and I thought his innovation was just the first window you pay, the second window you pick up. But it sounds like he came up with like, oh, there should also be like a speaker there, and you just order before you even get to a window.
Yeah, I would like to see the timeline of this. I imagine it was a 2-window situation first, and then it was a speaker and 1-window situation. And then after his death, I do not remember seeing 2 active windows before 2002.
Really?
Where you would pay at one and pick up your food at the next time. I think you're I think you're out of your gourd if you think that innovation was not a 21st century innovation.
I don't know. I can't remember things that
I can't remember things too good.
Well, I certainly can't remember like exactly what picking up a drive-through order in the 90s was like. But he also, you laughed at him coining the term pickup window. Originally, it was called the drive-in window, but Dave wanted to change the name from something that could attract cruisers and joyriders.
okay, but like you pick up your food there.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is like I scoffed at it's not even like that. That is just a straight up description of what it is. It's the window where you pick up your food.
Yeah, I mean, I guess people called it a drive-in window, which I get. But yeah, pickup window is a better name.
Yeah. Hey, good job, Dave. I don't want to take anything away from Dave Thomas.
Another thing I didn't know about Wendy's, and when we were talking last week about like their quote unquote AI innovations and whatnot, is out of the currently over 7,000 Wendy's restaurants around the world, or that might even be just America. No, that's around the world. 6,751 are franchised and only 415 are company owned.
Right.
I feel like that's a pretty small. I don't know what the other fast food chains numbers are like.
Yeah. That always I don't know. That stuff I think that's roughly like the norm.
In line.
I don't know. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Also, to me, the difference is negligible.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I was at a Burger King somewhat recently, and, I was at a Burger King at a rest stop, and it was easily like the worst Burger King I've ever been to. Because when I ordered...
Because it was at a rest stop?
Yeah. When I ordered, I think it was like they were out of all drink cups, maybe, or maybe they only had small drink cups. They didn't have medium or large drink cups. And there was something else they were out of. I want to say it was like French fries. But then there were signs up from the like franchisee that were like signed by the company that owns the franchisee with, I forget what, further information about things. And I was like, this is, if I worked for the Burger King Corporation and I were here on a corporate visit, oh boy, would these guys be in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think they bother going to rest stops. I was at an airport recently, though, and the line for the Wendy's at the airport terminal was so long, Tom.
Really?
Everybody wanted.
Now, was there competition or,
No.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
So
there are
that
like
makes sense,
3 other places in the terminal.
Right? Yeah. So it wasn't just that people were necessarily gaga for Wendy's. It was just that.
It was the most crowded place in the terminal, though.
Well, what were the other options?
They weren't other like fast food chains.
Right. They were probably like local things that people might not have been familiar with.
Probably. Yeah, or
just
not chains at all. Just
airport restaurants.
There was like
Which is really like, I've rolled the dice with that a few times. And like, you really, for the most part, just want to stick to the fast food. Like, you don't want to go to like the airport, like chicken sandwich place that you've never heard of before to give them a whirl.
I disagree.
Well, then we'll agree to disagree.
I don't think anybody should be eating like anything significantly like greasy before getting on a flight for hours anyway.
Whatever you eat at the airport doesn't count because you're traveling. It's fine. Your body burns it off. Your body doesn't even care about it.
Tom, Can I ask you a question? Something
Yes.
blew my mind in my research for this episode.
Okay.
Did you know that we talked about Wendy's chili last week?
Yes. Yeah.
Did you know that as of June of 2023, they sell cans of Wendy's chili at the supermarket?
What? No. Does it have old Wendy's hamburgers in it? That would be
presumably.
It's like every day the guys at the factory drive around to the Wendy's and get their old hamburgers, put them in this chili. I didn't know that. I'll keep an eye out for that. I mean, you know this. I'm a sucker for any promotional item at a supermarket, but I'm a big time sucker for a brand I know that normally does not make supermarket things.
Yeah. And I imagine it in no way resembles, like, all those things are not like, oh, we went into a test kitchen with our finest food scientists and figure it was like, we got like this chili that like some of it goes in these cans that go to Costco.
Mm-hmm.
And like, then we just have like this other like no name brand that goes to like, I don't know, like,
It
A&P
might have
or whatever.
their
Can we
proprietary
strike a
spice
licensing
blend.
deal? So according to the takeout.com, Tom,
Mm-hmm.
interestingly enough, Wendy's canned chili, which
Yeah.
costs $4.99 for a 15-ounce can,
Wow,
which I think is
that's
pretty
pricey.
steep. Yeah. Is much more packed full of the substantial stuff than the restaurant version.
Oh, all
Each
right.
spoonful is overflowing with beans, visible chunks of green pepper, and an amount of ground beef that feels proportional to the rest of the ingredients. It's less watery than the restaurant portion, and it's much more like a stew than a soup.
Wow.
So it sounds like it doesn't resemble Wendy's chili at all.
Wendy's chili is, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've had it, but I don't think it's soup-like. I think
I've never had it.
It probably depends on, if people bought too many hamburgers that day, then they're like, well, we still got to make a big pot of chili and just going to be mostly water.
Yeah, that's my news for the week, Tom.
Wow. Well, thank you for that news update. I'll have to keep an eye out in the chili aisle of my local supermarket.
Tom, so according to the takeout.com, I think there's one question that people who buy this can of chili will not be asking.
What's that? Oh, where's the beef?
That's correct.
Yeah, Tim. We talked about it extensively in take 1 of the episode last week, but we did not get around to it that much in take 2, talking about the where's the beef lady. What's her name? Peller?
Yeah, some old fucking lady who did not like the size of her hamburger in an ad.
So they had this whole ad campaign in the 80s, and this shit was huge. Like, I remember this vaguely as a kid. I think I was like too young to even really know what it was about, but I just remember hearing people say, where's the beef? Seeing people wearing shirts that said, where's the beef? People being real into it.
Yeah, this was in 1984, so...
Oh, okay, yeah. So I would have been
that's
3
when it
years
started.
old. Yeah. My earliest memories are of the Where's the Beef lady on television.
So the first commercial, the original one, featured 3 elderly ladies
Yeah.
at another fast food restaurant, home of the Big Bun.
Yeah.
And they look at the big hamburger bun, and 2 ladies poke at it. And one lady says, "It certainly is a big bun. It is a very big bun. It's a big, fluffy bun. It's a very big, fluffy," and then...
Did you write in for the transcript?
I did.
Okay.
And then they take the thing off and...
the bun.
Yeah. And then the old lady, Miss Peller, she just goes, where's the beef? Clara Peller.
Yeah. She went, where's the beef?
the beef?
Mm-hmm. And people loved it. People went nuts.
Yeah. And I think they cut those those other 2 elderly ladies out, or they died or something.
Well, they probably made some more commercials with just the lady
Clara
saying
Peller.
the catchphrase. Yeah.
Tom, did you know that that's not what she was originally supposed to say?
What was she originally supposed to say?
She was supposed to say...
Where the fuck is the beef?
Yeah, they were going to bleep it. No, she was going to say, where is all the beef?
Okay.
But
Where's
she had
all the beef?
emphysema, and she couldn't say all those words. Which, to me, it's just like, look, I don't know how they used to cast commercials, but now I know, like, it's like they see like thousands and thousands of people, right? For like even the small, not even for a Jake from State Farm, but for like the guy who has one line or one word in one of the Jake from State Farm commercials, right?
Yeah.
Don't you want to make sure that they can say more than 3 words if you're going to have them star in the commercial?
Yeah, I mean, you would think the part of the audition process would be saying the line, "Where is all the beef?"
Right.
But I don't know, maybe her reputation pursued her. She didn't have to audition for this.
They looked at her and they were like, "You certainly look like an old lady. You're hired."
Yeah. And I get, where is all the beef?
Right.
That's harder than just, where's the beef? And I mean, it worked. She was onto something. But I do know she was dropped from the campaign just 2 years later, or 1 year later in 1985. But although I feel like that, I don't know how many commercials she was in.
Right.
But I do feel like that was the era where if a company had like a hit spokesperson or a hit catchphrase, they immediately went like Wheel of Fortune style, shot 10 more commercials in a day.
Right.
To try and, get everything they could out of it. But she was dropped in 1985 because she was in a Prego spaghetti sauce commercial where she said,
Prego
"I
is
found
the most
it.
depressing brand of all time, by the way.
I found it. I really found it." A phrase alluding to the beef in the listener's mind, because the Prego sauce has beef inside of it in the jar.
I think that's BS. I think if they didn't want her to do that, they should have had a stronger contract with her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like hire her on, get a retainer on her or whatever. Yeah. Or have a contract that says, "Hey, you can't do other, food commercials or whatever." Yeah, I'm sure the truth is she got paid barely anything for that original "Where's the Beef" commercial. She did not enjoy in the success of them making T-shirts and hats and everything. And you could argue that she wrote that line too.
Right. She definitely abridged it because she could.
She did. But she did a rewrite.
Also,
she did a pass on it.
She what did she say in the
I found commercial? It. I really found it.
That's so many more words than "Where is all the beef?" What did she get cured of her emphysema before that commercial?
Maybe. I mean, maybe she used that Wendy's money to cure her emphysema. I mean, I could see her delivering it as, "I found it. I really found it."
Tom?
Mm-hmm.
In the 1984 Democratic primary, Walter Mondale and Senator Gary Hart were debating. And he kept, Mondale said to Hart, Gary Hart said, he kept talking about his new ideas, using the phrase "new ideas." And Mondale leaned forward and said, "When I hear your new ideas, I'm reminded of that ad, 'Where's the beef?'"
Yeah.
And he skyrocketed in the polls.
And won the presidency.
Yep.
It became our 40th president?
Yeah. Didn't lose to Reagan in every single state.
It's crazy, too. The only thing I know about Walter Mondale is that he put a helmet on and got in a tank, and they said that lost him the election.
No, that was Dukakis.
Oh, that was Dukakis. What was Mondale? What lost it for Mondale?
I don't know.
Same, "Where's the beef?"
Yeah, probably.
I mean, I do. The little I know about...
Because it was morning in America, Tom.
Right. The little I know about that, too, it was that Gary Hart was very popular, but then there was some kind of cheating scandal and he dropped out.
Yeah, there was a lady on his lap at one point.
Whoa. I didn't know it was that serious.
Cheating. No, a lady sat on his lap.
Wow. Hey, a man willing to do
another one
that
saw the sexy Wendy in 2012 and was like,
a man willing to do that has no place in the White House.
What was her name?
Who? Wendy?
The lady that sat in Gary Hart's lap.
I don't know. Was it somebody famous?
No, like she was famous
What do you
because
mean?
of it.
Okay.
What?
You're asking me all these questions, man. No, she's not famous, you idiot, but she's famous because of it.
Yeah.
No, apparently not, because neither of us know her name.
Donna Rice.
Donna Reed?
Donna Rice.
And
What,
and
you
who
never
was
saw
she?
you never saw a late 80s SNL rerun on Comedy Central in 1996 where there were like 5 sketches about Donna Rice and Gary Hart?
No. I know there was a Hugh Jackman movie about Gary Hart like a few years ago that I don't think did very well.
Well, he didn't have claws, so you didn't watch it.
No. I don't think I've ever seen a Hugh Jackman movie where he hasn't had claws.
You didn't watch The Greatest Showman?
No. Oh, I did watch that Darren Aronofsky one.
What was that?
I forget what
Fountain?
that was. Yeah, The Fountain, which I liked. People didn't like it. I liked it.
Yeah. I
Would
never
have been
saw
cooler
it.
if he had claws in it, but still, it was all right.
Let me ask you a question, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think there was enough for us to do a Wendy's part 2?
Well, we're at the end of the episode, so apparently there
I
was.
know. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, making it a 2-parter was the result of the first recording, us not getting everything in. But on the second take, we got in more stuff, but we were already committed to the 2-parter. There is one more. I'm going to do the plugs, and then there is one more thing I want to talk about. If you like the show, you can find out more at tcgte.com. You can find all our social media there, our subreddit, our Discord. You can check out you can follow me and Tim on social media. I'm at Tom Reynolds.
I'm at your pal, Tim.
And you can check out our Patreon, patreon.com/complete guide. This week, we are we're finishing up Way of the Wolf by the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Good scam artist, bad author.
Yeah, I have a hot take about this book, Tom, that I will reveal.
Wow. Look at that.
in
That's
the
a
episode
tease.
this week. Yeah.
I bet that Tim's hot take is going to be something like he didn't like this book.
I wouldn't be so sure, Tom.
All right. Well, it might be that it's Tim's favorite book. You can also listen to last week's episode where we did a deep dive into our, or was it 2 weeks ago now?
No, it's it was last week. Our personal failures.
Episode of Books the Podcast.
Yeah, no, because it was recorded right after you realized you beefed that first Wendy's recording.
Yeah. I beefed it, and you said, "Where's the beef?"
Yeah, we all knew where the beef was.
It was
Firmly
right.
in your hands.
It was in the room.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/complete guide. You can find out more about our Patreon and all that entails. Tim, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about what I think is my favorite item on the Wendy's menu. The venerable Frosty.
Okay. Well, last week you said it was the Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, but...
well, that's also, I do like that too.
What's the Frosty? Ice cream?
It's like melted. The original one was basically melted chocolate and vanilla ice cream mixed up.
Okay.
But now they have just vanilla. Now I think they've had just vanilla for like 20 years. That's the one I prefer, but I had a peppermint one over, I think a year and a half ago. They had them for the holidays.
Yeah.
And it was a pink one. And it was very good.
I like peppermint. Yeah, I like peppermint.
Peppermint's
stuff,
great.
During the holidays. Only during the holidays.
But I took it was like around New Year's, and I took my niece there. She wanted ice cream, but I had seen the sign for the peppermint patty, not McFlurry, Frosty at Wendy's. So I was like, we'll go to this place. And she was so like, yeah, but I really just want ice cream. And I was like, this is just as good as ice cream. In fact, it's even better. And she did like it, but I think she still was kind of like,
Yeah.
I really wish we had just gone and got ice cream.
Yeah, when a little kid wants something, you can't just be like, hey, I know what's better, and then like...
They don't want something better.
No, yeah, they want the thing they want. They only know of like 5 things on Earth.
Yeah. I had to answer so many questions where I was like, look, it's fine. It's basically just ice cream, all right? It's like, also, it's the beginning of January. Why do you want ice cream? We've been outside playing all day.
Do you dip your fries in the Frosty?
I'm not above it, but I don't do it.
Okay.
I like the idea, but
it's salty and sweet together, Tom.
Yeah, but you know, I can just eat one and then eat the other and have them both in my mouth without contaminating.
Oh, contaminating.
Yeah. I'm not a big, like, I need my food to be separate, but I think for some reason that's a bridge too far.
Okay.
I feel like the fries
Cool J in the movie Toys. You're a military man and you need a military meal.
Exactly, Tim. So glad you brought up LL Cool J in the Robin Williams vehicle Toys.
Yeah.
His famous line, almost as ubiquitous as "Where's the beef? I'm a military man. I like a military meal."
Yep. All right. I think it's a good place to put a pin in this. Till next week.
Hey, till next time, friendlies. Until I eat you again, which
Wendy's.
is hopefully soon. What'd you say?
You said friendlies, and I said Wendy's.
No, I said Wendy's.
No, you said friendlies.
I mean, I'd like to go to friendlies too if it's on the table.
Yeah, they shut them mostly down.
Yeah. Bring them back.
Bring them back.
We'll see you next week.
Have you been to one recently? They're not good. All right, I'll see you later.
That was a HeadGum podcast.